So my name is Jacob Bleckel. I'm the Director of Sustainability Communications and Integration in the Sustainability. This is kind of our kickoff series to update the campus community on what's going on in facilities and other aspects of the campus regarding sustainability and resilience and anything related, to let people know what's all the great things that are happening, as also kind of some of the ideas and plans we have in the future. This is part of our way of trying to get this information out there, communicate to folks, and we definitely want people to hear from everybody as well about ideas they have, things they're hearing, or things we should be working on. So without further ado, I want to introduce Maria Cimilluca. She's the Vice President of Facilities Management and a huge sustainability champion here within Northeastern. And she's here to just give an update on some of our successes around sustainability and what we're thinking about for the near future here. And so this meeting is recorded. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat. Maria's going to be talking for about 20, 30 minutes, but we'll have plenty of time for discussion after that, up until 5. Thank you. Maria?
Jacob, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining us today. I'm actually excited that Jacob asked me to kick this off because we have been doing so much work around sustainability and sustainability planning, and it takes a village. This series is an opportunity for us to network and continue to build momentum towards some really important initiatives that are, underway at the university. So I'll be going into detail on those. I've been at Northeastern approximately 3.5 years now. And when I got here, I'm setting the stage, and in today's presentation will be a journey, and I'm going to be sharing kind of the journey that I experienced, and I'm trying to tell a story about Northeastern sustainability and resiliency vision and goals, and where we've been, our past, and where we hope to go in the future. So when I got here, it was a little bit more of a grassroots effort buried within the Office of Facilities. And within facilities, there was an Office of Sustainability, and really working hard to make sure that we were tracking data, but it was really focused on the built environment. And as in parallel with that, the provost at the time, Jim Bean, had written with the faculty Northeastern 2025. And one of the core tenets of Northeastern 2025 is sustainability. And so there was a pretty significant push on the research side as the university was advancing and moving out of kind of the commuter school, becoming residential, and then moving into a top-tier research institution, this focus on sustainability. And so I'll start my presentation there. Let me share my screen. And go to presentation mode. And so, again, one of the 3 major research pillars as we were evolving as an institution. And so the time that I came, what we found was the sustainability and resilience ecosystem, all the pieces are there, right? Northeastern's doing really innovative things around the global network, in research, in humanics. And there was a host of courses and degrees being established around sustainability and resiliency and social justice. And there was a lot of activity and investment in energy and the built environment, but they were all happening in pockets across the university. And so one of the visions and the goals that we're working towards is pulling all of this together for a cohesive message and cohesive partnerships working across the university to affect change and have impact and be innovative in the way that we are approaching not only Northeastern's approach to energy and systems in the community and social justice and climate justice, but what is our impact in the broader community within the city of Boston and the globe? And one of the reasons that this is important is that I was able to pitch uh, a proposal to the university to hire an AVP for sustainability and create a sustainability hub. And this person is really being hired as a networker to help bring and pull all of these disparate pieces together, and help us as an organization make sure that we are establishing the proper network and fiber within the Northeastern culture to advance many of these initiatives that are so important to affecting change. And let's see, I'm frozen for some reason. I apologize, Jacob. Let me see if I can. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, good. Okay. So the commitments have been long part of Northeastern's trajectory and part of the culture. And so in 2007, the president did sign the American College and University President's Climate Commitment. And then in 2010, we established our very first sustainability action plan. And in 2017, an important milestone signaling that Northeastern was still being aggressive and the leadership was still passionate about our efforts around sustainability. The president signed the We Are Still in It, which is a leadership initiative within the city of Boston. And then just this year, the president signed the Climate Justice Action Plan. And what that signals is, one, we're embarking on establishing a new climate action plan, which is going to be called a Climate Justice Action Plan for the university. And that movement away from the term sustainability to climate justice is very real and very important as we move forward as an organization. We're not just looking at the built environment. We're not just looking at the courses that we offer. It's really about building a culture for change and having an impact, not only here on our campus, but for our neighbors and globally. And it's that making sure that we are contributing as good citizens towards a change in climate and what's happening with climate. And so our 2010, I'm embarking on the history. I'm going to go back to our history, where we've been and where we're going to be going. So the 2010 Sustainability Action Plan was a commitment to reduce our carbon footprint by 80%. And it really was focused at the built environment. So it focused on energy and was really looking at integrating sustainability practices into how we were managing renovations. So we put into effect a lot of carbon and energy standards into our design practices. But right around that time, or shortly after 2010, the university felt that it was really important to have impact around community outreach. Kathy Spiegelman was hired to stand up the office of, at that time, campus planning. And she really spent a lot of her career here at Northeastern working towards community outreach and community programs. And the that is an effort that is really important for as we look at our climate justice planning. And we need to make sure that we're bringing visibility to those efforts as we look towards the new plan. And so the reason I put this up, the carbon reduction roadmap, is it's important to understand we've been measuring data. Everything in facilities we do is data. And I could have come here today and presented pages and pages of metrics. And we are a resource to the university, to classes, to the College of Engineering, business school, for data just on our carbon roadmap, on our energy consumption. And what's important here is that our trajectory at that time is the green line, and it shows since 2005, if we implemented our plans, we should be on the green line trajectory. The blue line is our actual impact and what we've done. And we have, through our efforts, succeeded in reducing our carbon footprint as the campus has continued to grow. So the blue line at the top of the graph is our actual square footage. And we have, again, been growing. We also, this year, actually it was last year, we made a significant investment in wind, and which has allowed us to really have a significant impact on our reduction. So we are actually currently carbon zero. I need to update this graph, but we are engaged in a program that allows us to reduce the amount of ERECs that we invest in as we continue to have impact on the built environment. And so continued planning and continued advocacy on making sure that we're having impact in the carbon emissions is very, very important to us. Through our efforts, it's important to make sure that we understand how the campus works. What's the built environment? What's our energy consumption, so that we can target solutions towards that. We currently understand and know that 80% of our campus does use steam. And we have a growing electrical system, and but we do work to make sure that we keep our electricity use in check. But as we grow as a research institution, we really need to make sure that not only steam, but electricity is maintained in a way that allows us to continue the top tier research that we're doing on campus. And so we're currently looking at our steam, which is at an age, as well as the electric, where it needs replacement. And so through the planning for the new vision for the campus, we integrate an understanding of our energy systems towards better solutions that are more sensitive and use less energy for the campus. I mentioned standards earlier. We have LEED standards for the campus, and we are working very hard to make sure that when we do maintenance on campus, like roofs, that we use systems that allow us to either maintain stormwater, that we use reflective roofs. And this year, and I'm not sure why we haven't done it previously, but we are now establishing a standard for green roofs on our buildings. So anytime we design a roof from this point forward, not only new roofs, but replacement of our existing roofs, if it's not conducive for solar, which many of our roofs are not, we will be looking for stormwater management systems, which means a green roof system uh, for to help us with managing stormwater on campus. And we have done a significant amount of investment and paid a lot of attention to our waste stream on campus, and where our waste stream diversion is very high. And we want to continue to have impact there. And we want to get to a campus where we have eventually zero waste, and that should be a goal of ours, and which it is. And this year we were excited about, we bid our composting, and we have hired and are working with a minority Boston-based composting company, and we will be growing our composting program with their partnership on campus. So we're very excited about that. Maybe you have seen the article. It's Cyril. It was in News at Northeastern a few weeks ago. And but if you missed it, I'm sure, Jacob, we can make that available, or you can go to News at Northeastern and take a look at it. It was a nice article. We still we recycle, which is really quite wonderful, all of our mattresses. And we continue to install bottle filling stations. And I was in a meeting this week where we're putting together a program where we can reuse our surplus property. And so what do I mean by that? A lot of times we have renovations on campus where furniture is taken out of a space that's being renovated, and it could be reused on another project. So we had a conversation about how we can divert older furniture into being reused. If not here on campus, are there resources locally that could use that furniture if we can't? And so we're beginning planning, thinking about that part of our waste stream and how we can divert that. So that brings me to, well, what does the future look like? And so with the signing of the Climate Justice Action Plan, we need to stand up a team from across the university that's going to help us look at what does future state look like. And we want to make sure, and it is a campus-wide effort towards setting the framework that allows us to develop a new roadmap for the campus community. And what's exciting about 2021 and this, the president signing the Climate Justice Action Plan, is it allows us to network with hundreds of other universities. And it comes at a time when we have a new provost, and he's embarked on a strategic plan, a new strategic plan for the university called Beyond 2025. And that will allow us, in the senior leadership, the president has hired a new senior leader, senior vice president for diversity and inclusion. All of those things pulled together is strong signaling for a very important future that allows us to advance, in my mind, be innovators and leaders for um, higher ed, for the city of Boston, for the globe, really, around energy justice and resiliency. And so it starts with understanding what's happening not only here at home, but internationally. Having a strong understanding of the Sustainable Development Goals is a foundational of foundational importance to everything that we do going forward. And understanding what's happening nationally. You know, there was a lot of advancement in sustainability. And then in 2017, we withdrew from the Paris Agreement. And there were some significant tax cuts in the Job Acts. And understanding all of what's happening nationally and the evolution of what happens nationally really links to then what's happening in the state government, right? So, you know, as things were happening nationally, we have a governor who's out in front encouraging Congress to reduce greenhouse gases and build in climate resiliency, and who's passionate about making sure that we have an integrated climate change strategy, not only for the Commonwealth, but for the nation and for the world. And that trickles into our local environment and what's happening within the city of Boston. We're one of the largest property owners in the city of Boston, and we need to be good stewards of that and our impact within the city of Boston, having the thousands of students that come to our campus and are residents of the city is no small impact to the city. And so we need to understand, what is our role in carbon-free Boston? What is our role as we think about climate change for the city? And how can we further advance those changes for the city? The other thing that we need to understand when we approach our plan is resiliency. In understanding the university's vulnerabilities and the impact that these vulnerabilities could have on our campus. This year we did a vulnerability assessment, and we looked at the impact of sea rise and coastal flooding, extreme storms, what would happen to our campus in a event where there's major flooding. And we also looked at extreme heat. This map here shows the heat island effect within the city of Boston in Back Bay for our campus. And understanding that makes us realize what will be our electricity needs of the future. What are our needs for insulating our campus? What do we need in terms of capacity for cooling and steam in these extreme weather situations that the earth is going through right now, and how that affects the infrastructure, the buildings, the electrical, the steam. And not only for Boston, but we are residents and becoming ever more so global. We have global sites, and Northeastern's impact is around the world. Knowing our campus infrastructure, again, this is more of a data slide, but understanding the age of our buildings and how our buildings and systems are set up for the future is an important part of that planning process. And then how do we think about research on campus, and how could we use our built system and our energy and our buildings and the Internet of Things and virtual reality, and link all of the advances in technology to help us put research to practice here on campus and within the global network. And that'll be an important piece of our assessment and our study and our climate justice planning. so that we can create what I'm calling, and many campuses have done this, a living learning laboratory, so that when a student comes to Northeastern, they're embedded into a culture and in an environment that is putting practice to work, and having impact. And we really need to do, a part of this is really having a plan, a communication plan that helps us toot our own horn. We need to be able to tell this message thoughtfully, so that we can have that impact that we're desiring. And so the climate and energy justice planning that we're moving into right now, Jacob and I have been working with leadership on campus. We've been working with Kathy Spiegelman. We've been working with Jenny Stevens. We've been working with the SLT around how do we advance this initiative. And we did a call out to the university deans and asked for representation. We've also met with the chancellor's side of the house, and we've asked for representation for students to be part of the planning process. And we want to have the entire community have a voice. And so we're assembling a team. And over the course of this year, we're going to be setting up monthly meetings. We'll be having town halls and opportunities for the campus community to help us pull together the plan for the university. So it's a plan made by the university participants for the university. And it's an opportunity to shape the long-term vision for the campus. And my little quote, nothing should be considered in isolation, but rather as an integrated and an integral part of the whole. And so what we want to do is advance solutions for resiliency. This presentation, and for me, being in facilities, I tend to have a facilities eye towards the built environment. So looking at energy, on-site energy generation, battery storage, and the development of a microgrid for the campus. So one of the, our utility infrastructure is at getting close to the end of its useful life. And so what does that mean? It's not going to crash tomorrow, but we do need to be thoughtful in thinking about upgrading the electrical service on campus, upgrading our central plant, looking at the steam on campus. And for those of you who are on campus and walking around, this past couple of weeks, we've had some steam failures. So you'll see plumes of steam on campus. And we want to be thinking about, okay, steam really isn't the future of campus. It's very energy intensive. And so we're thinking about how might we go to geothermal blended with hot water systems, blended with solar, blended with a green energy electrical supply coming onto campus. And how would we work battery storage? And there's huge advances in batteries happening currently. How does that tie into an energy solution for campus? That layered with pulling all of that together and creating a microgrid for the campus, and having and establishing a head end so that we can track all of the energy that we're using. And that would be a wonderful opportunity for us to put research to work and have an opportunity for our learners to live on a campus that has its own microgrid and use the data and the information that is generated from that microgrid as part of advancing new solutions for around energy. And we can't do it alone. It'll take partnerships. It's partnerships with the services side of the house and what's happening within facilities and within procurement and within human resources and campus planning with community relationships. And it happens with alumni and looking at what's happening with our co-ops and how our relationships with our business partners is so integral and tied to our future. And so it'll be important for us to think about all of these relationships so that we're leveraging our partnerships to implement programs that advances Northeastern's ability to offset its use of carbon and advance green solutions and advance energy justice and policy for those who are less privileged and able to have an impact on their local community and environment. And so with that, I will take questions that you might have.
I think you might have to take off presentation mode or.
Yep, I will. Or can you do that? Let me, I'll stop sharing.
Oh, perfect. We have a pretty small, we don't have too many folks here. So I think if people just want to, you put it in the chat or you can ask yourself. So first question was, how is the pandemic setback or impacted any of these visions? Great question.
Yeah, it is a great question. And actually, we were just about to launch our update to the climate action plan a year ago. We had all of the plans in place, and I think what the pandemic did was it put us on pause, but there has been a lot of activity, positive activity that I think positions us better so that when we do launch the climate justice planning this fall, we're in a better position. And what do I mean by that? When we were looking at the climate action plan, we were really just looking at carbon and what's the impact of carbon on campus. This new level of planning is much more than that. It's the social justice. It's much more of a comprehensive roadmap around not only our carbon impact, but what do we want to be as an organization in terms of social justice? What do we want to be in terms of a community member within the city of Boston? And I believe that this has set us up for a better outcome because of that moment of pause that we took. Are there other questions, Jacob? Does that answer the question?
Yes, yeah, thank you. Yes, Mary Beth asked about the role of philanthropy, either from individuals or companies. Is there a role for philanthropy? And if yes, please say more.
Yeah, I absolutely do think philanthropy is an important part of this role. So if we come out of the plan with clear projects and or partnerships or ideas for spin-offs or innovations that could advance either philanthropy through being able to, I'll say perhaps fundraise for a specific project and or create small business opportunities and have companies being spun off out in our Burlington campus or even on some of the other global campuses. In thinking in partnership with where and how advancement links sustainability and climate justice and resiliency to the health of the university. I believe that that story, once we have it assembled and can more clearly articulate it, that there is an opportunity for philanthropy from companies or even individuals.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Thanks. Dale, you mind asking your question? I just think it'd be helpful maybe have it just to ask where you're, give a little more.
Yes, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'd love to. Hi, Maria.
Hi.
Thank you so much. I was wondering what kind of a volunteer sign-up forum Northeastern might have for helping to sort out the environment, the climate justice.
Yeah,
Thank
so we have this is an area we need to work on. We have now that Jacob has joined our team. Will be our resource for volunteering and pulling people together, and you can sign up to be a part of town halls and working groups as we work through the plan and beyond that. So if we have special projects and opportunities, certainly if there's an area of passion, we want to create that. So right now we have kind of one spokesperson for, I'm going to use the Arboretum as an example. The campus is such a gift. It's such a place of beauty and really is a great place to call home for our students and a great place to work. And a part of that fabric is the Arboretum, and it's so important to our educational program and climate and community relations. And so that could be an area. So if you had a passion for the environment, that might be one. If you have an interest in green office, where you can have your office be carbon free, we have programs that can help grow that. And so there's a lot of opportunity, but we do need